Hello, this is Algebra 2, Lesson 3, and this lesson covers evaluation of expressions and adding like terms. Alright, so when it asks us to evaluate an expression, that means we just have to find the value of the expression. And the value is going to depend on what these variables are. So it's giving us values for the variables, and then we just have to plug those values in and solve. So for wherever we have an x, we're going to put in -2. So right here will be -2. So I'm going to have -2. I don't know why I wrote an X there. There we go. -2 squared. Okay, so I just replaced my X with a -2. Wherever we have a Y, we're going to put in a -4. So Y is -4. So right here, that means times -4 minus another -4. Now, something very important to make sure that you keep an eye on is when anything is touching, like this and this, without a plus or minus between it, that means to multiply. So it means multiply these two times each other, okay? X squared times Y. Right? Then we subtract a Y. All right, first we're going to do our exponent. So -2 squared, that means -2 times -2. Because there's a parentheses there, we can't cover up that negative. Those are going to cancel, and we're going to get +4. So that part is 4. That's going to be times -4 minus -4. 4 times 4 would be 16. That would be -16. These two negatives are going to cancel each other, and it turns into +4. -16 and +4, we're going to subtract, and we're going to get -12. Okay? This one we have to evaluate, and A is -2, and B is +4. Okay, so first we're going to have this A, and places where we're going to multiply. Right here we'll be multiplying, because they're touching with no sign in between, and right here we're going to be multiplying. Okay, A would be -2, then we'll put our parentheses. B would be -4. I'm going to bring down that negative sign, A, which is -2. See, I have two negatives next to each other. I'm just going to cancel those. All right, minus A, which is another -2. Okay, cancel those. And that's times B, which is 4. Okay, so the places where I have to multiply are going to be this A times whatever the answer to inside this parentheses is, and then this 2 times 4, this A times B. Okay, so I'm going to do inside the parentheses. So I've got a -4 plus 2 would be -2. So I'm just going to bring down this -2. Inside my parentheses would be -2. So we owe $4. We paid back 2 of it. We still owe 2. All right, plus, that's this plus right here, 2 times 4. Now I'm going to do my multiplication. -2 times -2 is going to be +4, plus 2 times 4 would be 8. 8 plus 4 equals 12. That's the answer to that one. Some of these will get a little bit confusing, but they're not so bad. All right, simplifying by adding like terms. That just means that we can only add things that are the same. Like terms are going to have the same variables, okay? So like right here we have an X and a Y. This one has an X and a Y, so that's a like term to that, okay? This one just has an X, and this one just has an X, so those two are like terms. And then this one doesn't have any variables at all, so it doesn't have any like terms. All right, I'm going to start with my green ones first because that has the most variables, and I usually like to put those first. So I've got 3x minus 6x. Now remember, the sign is always attached to, that minus is always attached to whatever's right after it. So 3xy minus 6xy, which would be 3. You have $3. You want to spend 6, you're going to have to borrow $3. Because we had +3 and -6. That's going to make -3. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the pink ones here. So that are just my x terms. So I have -2, so a -2, and a +3. If I have $3, take away $2, I'm going to have $1. So that's 1x left, and it's a positive 1x. I don't have to write the 1. I can just write x. And then the last one, we just leave the way it is because there's nothing to combine with it. So plus 4. And that is what your answer will look like for these where it says to add like terms. Okay? All right, now we're going to have to try it on this one. What I am going to do before I do anything else is I am going to make all of these variables be in the numerator. Or you could just make them all positive. Let's see, how did they do it? They made them all positive. Okay, so to do that, I would need to move this a down to the bottom. So that would be 3b over a squared c. Okay, then this next one, everything's already positive, so I'm just going to write it. Minus 4b over a squared c. This one, I'm going to have to move my a squared to the bottom and my c to the bottom. Okay, so I'll have 7. If I move that to the bottom and that to the bottom, I'm just going to have a b left over a squared c. Okay, and then my last one doesn't have any negative, so I'm going to just do 4b a squared c. Now, if we look carefully at these, we can see some of these are like terms. 3b over a squared c. This one's got a b over a squared c. This one has a b over a squared c. So all three of these are like terms. So we're just going to add our numbers. 3 minus 4 plus 7. 3 minus 4. Actually, let's put our positives together first. We could do it this way. Either way, 3 take away 4 would be negative 1, plus 7 would be 6. If we put our positives together first, we would have 3 plus 10. Plus 7 would make 10, and then subtract 4. That's going to be positive 6. All right, so our number is 6b over a squared c. Okay, and then this one didn't have any like terms, so we're just going to tack it on the end. Minus 4ba squared over c. Okay, pretty easy on those. They look confusing, but they're not so bad. All right, go ahead and pause the video and work the practice problems, and then I'll work them for you. All right, so we got a couple that are evaluate and then one that's simplify. For our evaluate, we've got a equals 2, b equals negative 3. So if a is 2, we're going to replace this a with a 2. And we're going to be multiplying right here. Okay, so 2 times b squared. I'm going to go ahead and square my b. So if I had b squared, that'd be the same thing as negative 3 squared, which would be the same thing as negative 3 times negative 3. And that would be positive 9. Those cancel. All right, so I'm going to put my 9 in there. That's my b squared. Minus b, which is negative 3. These are going to cancel each other out, so it'll be plus 3. So I'm going to multiply first. 2 times 9 is 18. Plus 3. 19, 20, 21. Should be the answer on that. Let me double check the answer key. Was lesson 4. Bear with me for a second. And their answers to the practice problems are also in the back of your book. All right, so the first one should be 21. Yep, got that one. All right, this one, our x is going to be 2, and our y is going to be negative 3. First, we're going to look and we're going to see that we're going to be multiplying here between that x and y, here between that x and y. Okay, so this x is 2 times our y, which is negative 3, minus, and then parentheses, negative x, which is 2, and y, which is negative 3, plus y, which is negative 3. Okay, that looks super confusing, especially with these double parentheses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something else instead. I am going to take my x and y value, so I have it here and here, and I'm going to go ahead and figure that out. So x times y. So if x is 2 and y is negative 3, that means that 2 times 3 is negative 6. So anytime I see an x and y together, I can just put in a negative 6. So like right here, I'm going to replace that with negative 6. Minus, and then a negative there, and then that's negative 6 for this x and y, plus my y, which is negative 3. Now I got to get rid of the confusing notation, so those are going to cancel each other. So I'm going to have 6 minus 3. Okay, 6 minus 3 is going to be 3. Okay, so I have 6 minus 3, and that's going to equal 3. See if that's right. Oh, no, that says negative 9. Oh, whoopsie, I forgot. That's negative 6. There we go. That's what's wrong with it. Negative 6 minus 3 is going to be negative 9. There's the answer is negative 9. If you got negative 9, good job. All right, this last one. We want to simplify by adding like terms. So we've got to move all of our negative exponents to the bottom. So that means this a is going to have to come down to the bottom. So I'm going to have 2x over a to the third m. Now this next one, I can't move that anywhere. Let's see, so that's going to be minus. Let's see, I've got my problem all messed up here. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. My plus and my minus were in the wrong spot. All right, so I can't move any of that. So 5x over a to the third m. And then plus this one, I can move that m to the top. So I'm going to have a to the third m on top over x. So these are kind of swapped from the other ones. So the ones that are going to be like terms are going to be this first one, because it's got x over a to the third m, and the second one, because it's got x over a to the third m. This one is not, because the a to the third m is on the top and the x is on the bottom. They're swapped. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2 minus 5, which is going to be negative 3, x over a to the third m. And then I just tack this last one on because it doesn't have any like terms. So plus a to the third m over x. That third needs to be a little bit higher. All right, let me double check that one. A to the third m over x minus 3x. Yes. So in the book, they have it written backwards from that. Either answer would be fine. You could write it like that, or you could write a to the third m over x minus 3x over a to the third m. Okay, both of those mean the same thing. So if you wrote it that way, or if you wrote it that way, either way it's the same. All right, that is it for lesson 3. Thanks for watching.